I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational.
You can do it!
But that just wouldn't be our style.
Welcome to Project Reclamation, where you rebuild, re-energize, and reclaim your life.
Oh, man. God, nothing gets me more excited or hyped than that intro. Bobby Boucher.
You can do it.
Keanu Reeves, I forget his character. But that he crossed the picket line and the replacements, and then he ended up being cooler than
Falco?
the quarterback.
Jimmy
Falco. Oh, and then that sheep, that squirreling, hurling sheep. Nothing gets you more pumped than that.
I can't even do it.
Hey, welcome to another edition of our sweet Project Reclamation podcast, where we aim to build you guys up from the inside.
So, Steve,
Yeah.
how are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. Shoots. I got to be honest with you. I wanted to let you know that I shared this podcast with some of my coworkers. And
Shout out to
the Mercy crew.
The Mercy crew. Mercy, what's the actual official name? Scripps Mercy.
I don't know what hospital. I don't know what hospital it is, but I know it's a Mercy crew somewhere in San Diego.
Oh, are we not allowed to say that?
Oh, just in case. I always.
Someone wants to like come stalk you.
Who knows? But hey, I wanted to say that one of the biggest.
There's more than one Scripps Mercy hospital. I'm saying.
There actually are two. Yeah, but
and
either which way.
There are no hospitals that are Mercy that aren't Scripps. So
That's true. One of the biggest things I wanted to say is that there is a very, very special person out there who has always been a big proponent of supporting all staff and everyone that's out there. And I want to say, Crystal G, if you're listening to this, thank you. You are amazing. What a star you are. She gave me the platform to kind of display this podcast, and everybody, one, loves your voice, Tim. Everyone is just tired of hearing mine. They just fast forward.
Voice.
They just fast forward through my voice as quickly as they can. Beep, 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 beep. It's a 30-second little jump, and they're like, "Oh, when does it get to be his
30-second
monologue?"
jump is beautiful.
Yeah,
I use it for my own voice.
we
when I
want
listen
more
to this
Tim's
podcast.
monologues. Is what they say.
Oh well, I'll just do a whole episode on my own.
Man,
We'll call it a solo-sode. Hello, welcome to Project Reclamation with Tim. Today I'd like to talk about
Tim.
I'd like to talk about me. I'd like to talk about this book that Steve has on his counter. And I was reading it, and it's D-O-P-E-S-I-C-K. You might think that spells dope sick, but for some reason, I don't know. It's early in the morning. I was looking at it, and I was like, is that dopesic? Dopesic? What
You
is
thought
that?
I was
Is that
reading
like
some-
Is that like a mountain region in the Andes? What the fuck? Oh, no, it just says dope sick. Got it. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, that's how I do it. I trick you up on reading.
Breeding?
Reading.
Oh, that's good, because I don't want to have anything to do with breeding with you.
Well,
weird.
no one does. No one does.
Mm-mm.
Hey, man, you know what's so crazy is that I think about this all the time. I go,
When's Crystal going to be on our podcast?
I don't know. You know what? I'm trying to get her as
Hey,
a
Crystal.
Oh.
We want you on our podcast. I don't even know who you are, but I want you on our podcast. I heard you're a very positive person. So
the most positive.
I am
person.
shouting out to you. I am calling you out. Tell Steve when and where, and we'll make it happen.
And I want to give a shout out to her project, bigger _ us. That's BIGGER _ us, US. You can find them on Instagram. It is just giving you a good insight on what life in the emergency department can be like when you have a great, great crew surrounded by some positive
badass,
people. That's her initiative. She's wonderful.
I like it.
TJ, if you're listening to this.
I like it.
Joey, if you're listening to this, anybody else that's listening to this podcast that's also just rolling around Mercy Campus. Awesome. Thank you so much for signing us up. And as always, we're sponsored by or brought to you by Podbelly.com. Pig Out on Podcasts. Man, what a great network. What a great platform. If you're tired of listening to us, man, you want to listen to 2 episodes of these guys, I'm done.
I mean, keep listening to us, but go ahead and throw some other things in the mix.
Throw some other things in the mix.
You want to learn something about, the Stephen King multiverse? Go for it. You want to learn more about Star Wars? Oh, guess what? There's a podcast called All Things Star Wars.
What?
You want to learn about 2 chicks who figure out if they could survive through horror movies? We got that too.
Is that the name of the whole podcast? 2 chicks to see if they can survive through horror
No,
movies?
it's like Kim and Ket stay alive, maybe.
I was like, what a
or there's
long
In the
name.
Woods, where Jenna Corbett teaches you how to live off the grid and like how to go kill a bear, and I don't even know what else. She might murder people. Who knows?
What is there a podcast that just teaches me how to get rid of an annoying lizard that hangs around my compost pile in my backyard? Because I would like that one. I don't want to necessarily kill him.
Why don't you catch it and turn it into a pet?
I'm not too big on the lizard, snakes kind of regions of animals.
I don't know.
What about like a nice dachshund? If there was a nice dachshund that was hanging around my compost pile that was just, I don't know, youngerish, maybe like at least 2.
Wiener
so
dog?
it's like, yeah.
One that was like happened to be like already professionally trained.
Yeah, professionally trained and like potty trained, so I didn't need to do all that stuff. And then it was also calm but didn't bark as well, and that respectfully didn't do anything in the house that like tore up the house. Then that's the one I would want hanging around my compost pile so I could train and turn it into a pet.
I was watching some old Shark Week episodes.
Okay. I think it's still the same, though, because the message is still the same. Don't go in the water with them MFers. They will eat you alive.
No, it's that they're beautiful creatures, and they deserve respect. And honestly, you're more likely to die from a bee sting than a shark bite.
Oh, can I just tell you that? Oh, sorry. Go finish
Anyway,
your
so
thought.
Eli Roth, and I didn't know Eli Roth was like a huge shark fan. Eli Roth, he's the one who did all the Hostel movies. He just did...
He's a producer?
Yeah, he's a producer, director.
No, I don't know.
He did like Death Wish and Cabin Fever. And he was in, what was that movie? Inglourious Bastards. He played I forget what his name, and they called him the Bear Jew.
Oh, he's Eli Roth.
Yeah, that's Eli Roth. Anyways, he's a big horror guy, but apparently he's also a big shark fan. I guess it makes sense. But how has he never done a shark movie? Eli, do a fucking shark movie, because I love shark movies. They're my favorite.
Eli, just do more movies so I know who you are.
He had a lady on who he does like a show where they kind of do the wrap up afterwards, kind of like what's his name does the thing on The Walking Dead where they do the show.
Chris Hardwick or something like that. Yeah.
So anyway, Eli Roth does it's like Shark After Dark, where
Shark After Dark.
Yeah. But there was some lady, anyways, she has a pet line where they do like pet products and stuff, and they had this bed for a dog that like it looked like a little shark. The dog had to climb inside the shark's mouth, so he had his dog. This story is going somewhere, I fucking promise. He had his dog on. And he called his dog was named Monkey, and she was the cutest little French bulldog. So my point is, I could totally see you with a French bulldog.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, why not?
Yeah,
I got plenty of love. I got plenty of space. I got plenty of room in my heart.
They're little, they're fun, but they're like they're not like a froofy little dog. They're like a manly little dog kind of.
Yeah, I just
Rock. I think The Rock has a French bulldog. I think Vin Diesel has a French bulldog.
That's why I got to go different. You got to go mainstream. You got to go against the grain here. Sometimes you got to pick up a wiener dog.
Clothing The Rock puts out, but you won't buy the same dog.
You know what? His stuff is actually too expensive. Even at the outlet store, I was like, man. Even at the Under Armour outlet, it was too expensive.
Yeah,
Either that shows you how cheap I am, or where my financial status is, or maybe how quality the Rock's products are. Under Armour, what a fine establishment of great products. Under Armour.
Yeah, Under Armour. If you want to
Nothing
sponsor
beats
us.
the best. And then this is where we go on a diatribe. Porsche. No other car that I would ever drive in.
Based on my budget right now, Russell Athletic at the fine Walmart
Don't lie to these
establishments.
fine people that are listening to us. Hanes. Hanes multiple pack t-shirts.
Amazon Basics.
Oh, man. Hey, brother, I got to be honest with you, man. I just love talking to you every single week. But, man,
Yeah, dude.
Do you know what? You know what? I guess it would be nice, man.
To do what?
To touch your body?
Touch your body.
I know not everybody has got a body like you. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say to
I wish I knew the
you.
words to that song.
Oh, man.
So
But I got to think twice before I give my heart away.
You gotta have faith.
Oh, because I got to have faith. Man, we are talking this week about, and that's probably one of the worst song transitions that we've done. But I think when George Michael's... That's even more.
Because if you find yourself on an island with a bunch of dinosaurs that are trying to fucking kill you, you gotta have faith.
You got to have faith, man. So one of the biggest topics I always wanted to talk about for a long time is faith.
So we're talking about like, is this like a religious episode?
No. Well, it can be because it depends. Everyone's faith is different, right? So at Project Reclamation, our whole premise and purpose is to kind of build you up, right? To know what your struggles are and to say, hey, you're not alone through your struggles. You got 2 or 3 other dudes all the time, always kind of having the same issues or same problems. But how we get through it is how we talk about it. And if you're kind of going through the same thing, you're saying, hey, man, I got 3 buds. Although they don't put out podcasts on a consistent basis sometimes, they still kind of struggle the same way I do. And that's how we're going to do it, is that we're going to build each other up through just talking about it and also sharing exactly what kind of things that we're actually doing to get through the toughest times. And so, honestly, one of my biggest things that I've always kind of relied upon was my faith. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily faith in my religious background, but I will say it's just a faith is just kind of an understanding or a belief that something is there, whether or not you want to believe it, or, whether or not you can see it or not, feel it or not, smell it, touch it, all that other stuff. It's just knowing that something is there and
the
it's backing
universe, the invisible purple spaghetti monster, whatever it is. Yeah, just some sort of have faith in something, or just in karma, or yourself,
or it can be in yourself and your experiences,
friends and family,
and what you've done. So a lot of the time, what this came out from is that sometimes when I work with a lot of people, sometimes I go, it's hard for them to see what they could be or realize what they could be, because sometimes you're in the forest for the trees, right? You can't see yourself and realize what all your potential is. So you're like, okay, but you have to have a faith, or you have to have an understanding, or you have to have a future hope that, you will get there and you will get to your end destination and you will be great, right? And it's just that whatever tough times you're going through, you have to rely on all those experiences that you've had in the past to kind of push you through right now. And so that's what I'm trying to hit at right now. When I went out for a television job, I will tell you, I come from a uniquely Asian family where it's, they wanted me to kind of go through, more successful ventures. But I really had this career vision in mind that I wanted to do and or be like in sports entertainment. And so I remember going to a lot of random job fairs and kind of traveling all over the world, just trying to, or traveling all over the country to try and put myself or align myself up, just trying to get some kind of job. And I believed in myself and I believed in the vision of what I was trying to put forward, even though sometimes my parents did or my friends couldn't see what necessarily I was trying to see, or the people that were closest to me at that time were like, I don't know, man, why don't you just kind of give up on this or try something different, or maybe we'll give you a year or something like that. But if you can't make it, maybe just call it quits. And it was never like me wanting to call it quits. I honestly just believed that I could do it and I could find some way to make this work. And so I had a lot of faith in myself and I had a lot of faith in the vision which I put out.
I like it. Yeah. The most recent example I can think of is, I'm looking for a new job right now. And I've been going and updating my LinkedIn and hitting people up and applying for jobs that I may or may not even want and all this other stuff. But I just kept doing it, and I kept, and it's been, Steve, it's up until this week. It's gotten a little rough, but
every single day you're believing in yourself.
But every single day, I never
in.
lost faith. I was like, something's gonna happen. The right, jobs are gonna start opening up somewhere that someone's gonna want to look, want to entertain hiring me, et cetera, et cetera. And then, sure enough, this week I went from having 0 prospects to now I have 5. Wow. So,
it's never a fact that
I could have given up and been like, I'm just not meant to be. I'm going to go move back with my parents or whatever.
It's never a matter of giving up, right? Because in those moments, right, when you get tested or you go through a trial, you're like, oh, crap. But what does that do traditionally sometimes? If you're still kind of on that same path or you still kind of believe in that vision, sometimes that galvanizes your faith in what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. And it galvanizes your belief in what you're doing is right and right for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's say you can't tweak things, I didn't just have faith that it was, I went I've tweaked my resume multiple times and stuff, but I stayed the course, because I knew that I put thought into the course. The course made sense. What I was doing made sense.
Yeah.
It was the right thing to do. And I'd already decided all that. So once you decide all that, have faith that it's going to work, but nothing good comes easy.
Yeah. I will tell you that if everything kind of goes well along the course, I'm trying to get to A, B, and C. I try to have this career goal in mind. I have this personal goal in mind. I have this professional goal in mind. And you go at it and you don't get tested. There's nothing that kind of falls in the way. Or there's no obstacles, there's no hurdles. What does that turn into, right? That turns into disinterest, right?
Yeah,
because there were no trials to kind of test you. There were no speed bumps along the way to absolutely say, hey, is this making sure this is what you want still, right? Because sometimes it's just like, I don't know, if you're heading towards somewhere and it's so easy to get to, then it was more of just a simple dream, you know? It's just a thing that you can easily check off your list. But in that time, if your goals change, right? If your goals deviate from the original one, and you say, oh, I was heading here, I was heading to be the #1 brewmaster in all of my city, but I realized that, you know, my best efforts were somewhere else, maybe in something else. Well, then I think that's kind of almost the I don't know, a little bit of a trial that ends up finding you the end destination. Sometimes the things that the best things that happen to you in life are the things that don't happen to you in life, and that's always something to kind of keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Sometimes some of the greatest things that happened were the things that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Is that a Rock quote, Steve?
No, I heard that from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on one of his Instagram posts.
Yeah.
When he's talking about his time or failed time in the CFL.
Well, before that, he thought he was going to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
But then he blew out his knee and, you know, gave Warren Sapp a career instead.
Yeah, but can I just tell you one of the stories that I heard about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as well? And this isn't us just blowing him up because I think he has plenty of followers. He doesn't need poor old Project Reclamation to blow him up any, but I want to let him know that, like, if he ever, like, listens to it, if he ever comes across this for whatever reason, is that as just two people that are kindly listening and trying to provide positive affirmations or positive spirits out into the world here, or positive thoughts out in the world, you know, he certainly is one of those markers that we certainly look towards as saying, man, that guy stays positive through a lot of things, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that the three people we talk about the most are probably him, Goggins, and Rogan.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I was going to, yeah. And well, I guess one of the things is, too, is that, remember, one of the things, when he first started his career, my understanding is that he had a vision about where he wanted to take himself, right? Or where he thought the character of himself could go.
Yeah.
Right? After whatever, I know he still wrestled, but it's just, you know, he thought about.
Yeah, but when he went into wrestling, that was because his dad and I think his grandpa too were wrestlers.
Yeah.
He's like a third generation professional wrestler, but his dad didn't want him to get into wrestling, and he didn't want to get into wrestling. He was going to go play pro football.
Sure.
But then when he was at the University of Miami, you know, he blew out his knee, right?
Probably.
I think it was his knee. It might have been his shoulder. I don't fucking know. Anyways, that kind of
He blew out his knee, but blew open his future, right?
Right. So then he went and played for the CFL, and then they cut him. And then I think he got another offer from the CFL, and he's like, you know what, I'm not going to take it. And he went and told his dad, he's like, Dad, I'm going to the family business, and I need you to be okay with that. And his dad's like, well, this is the dumbest decision you've ever made, but I'll train you.
See,
was that the dumbest decision he ever made? But I think not.
Can I ask you, if anyone out there is listening, you have a vision of yourself, maybe you're unhappy with your job, or maybe you're unhappy with your current state of life, and you say, man, I could be happier doing X, Y, and Z, or trying X, Y, and Z, or seeing X, Y, and Z, or being somewhere else. But no one else, you got all these other appendages that kind of stop you from doing so, and you think, okay, well, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I should do this. Do you have a vision? Do you have a belief in something else that's bigger than the moment in which you are right now? If you're happy, that's great. That's awesome. You clearly have lived out that goal to get to be happy, and that's awesome. Enjoy it. But if you have some vision or some kind of carrot that's hanging in front of you, that's dangling in front of you saying, man, I love my life. I'm always going to love myself, but things could be better. Well, then how are you going to make it better?
Yeah.
Do you have that vision that sometimes is synonymous with, do you have that belief in yourself that you can attain that and get there? And then do you have enough faith in yourself that you're going to do all the work that you can, or even put yourself in alignment with the work that can be done to get to those goals and to achieve? That's what I'm trying to bring up to the surface right now, because sometimes if you're not aware about it, you just kind of forget it, out of sight, out of mind. And if you kind of keep on shoving your goals, your wishes, your visions, your dreams out of vision, out of your mind right now, out of sight right now, then they become out of mind, and you get to be lost, and all of a sudden you find yourself not miserable, but maybe just kind of falling short about other things that you maybe believed in a long time ago about yourself.
Yeah, and I think we were talking earlier this morning. I was just waking up, but Steve had some stuff on his mind. I was like half the conversation was me yawning.
Boy, did
but
I.
we kind of we toyed around with calling this episode "Down But Not Out." So I think just kind of on that topic, I think that when you're doing something, no matter what it is, if it's something hard, if it's a journey, mine is obviously something that needs to happen. I need to find I have to find a new job. But, if you're in a you're doing a career change, or you're starting a new business, or you're doing a fitness or a health transformation, or you're taking a leap and getting married, or starting a family, or starting a new business, or picking up and setting up roots in a different city, or you want to go, you got some idea to go move to freaking Thailand and I don't know, ride elephants or whatever it is they do in Thailand. Then I think you're going to get challenged. And whether you believe in some sort of a God or just the universe or just karma, life, whatever. I mean, I think anything hard, I think challenges are going to get laid down. It's basically you're in the ring, you're going to get knocked down, but do you let yourself get knocked out? And that's kind of what we were thinking about calling this episode. So I think
down but not out.
Right. I think anything that's truly worth it, in your life, or anything that's going to really, really matter, when all's said and done, the chapters that are going to be the best chapters in your book are going to be the ones that required a little bit of, failing and a little bit of picking yourself up, and maybe a lot of failing and maybe a lot of picking yourself up. And, we talk about plenty of people, including the Rock and Jocko and stuff, who talk about, failure. I mean, one of my favorite things, if you're talking about kind of overcoming obstacles, is look up on YouTube. There's a Jocko. There's a clip from one of Jocko's podcasts, and it's just called Good. And he's just talking, and I can't reproduce it. So go look it up. Go onto YouTube. just type in Jocko Good, and it'll come up. You'll see it. It's like maybe a minute long, maybe two. Have I showed you that?
No.
Oh,
it doesn't matter.
Maybe you should watch it. Let's do this.
Because I will say this though too, is that I was at an interview yesterday, and we talked about some of the shortcomings or some of the failures or some of that. Even reframing it too, as saying they are growing opportunities, can all kind of lead back to your vision about where you want to go. Even just reframing of that in your mind, it works. And one of the biggest things I'll tell you too is that I actually work with a guy named Nicky from Chicago. Wonderful guy. He has a dream, or he has a vision for himself and what he wants to do with his life. And I'm like, oh, that's great. But, he wants to go north of us and kind of make it big in a scene. And gosh, I believe in him, right? I really, really do believe in him. He's a personality, he's a character, and he's a wonderful dude, right? So it's like, okay, great. But, the amount of rejection that you kind of face along the way sometimes can be so daunting and deterring from what you really, really want to do. But I'm saying, hey, if you believe in yourself and you kind of just, you're strong-held to your beliefs about who you are and how you're going to get there, dude, you're going to make it, right? It's never like, just believe in yourself and wish hard enough and things happen. But I'm telling you, if you honestly just believe about seeking or going after what you want, I don't think anything else, you'll never settle for anything else less than what you sought after for in the beginning.
I agree, man. Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that all of that is good, but at the end you do still have to put in the work,
Absolutely, man.
And I think you have to work harder when it gets okay. So right now, go. If you're driving, don't do this. But if you're not, hit pause. We're gonna go pull up this thing. So we're gonna watch it right now. Obviously, you won't be able to see it. You might be able to hear it, but probably not. Actually, we'll probably not, because I don't want to.
Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pause the podcast right now. We're gonna listen to this thing, and we're gonna rejoin it in just in a matter of movie magic.
All right,
in 1 second.
We're gonna watch this. What is it? 2 minute and 20 second clip of Jocko's podcast called Good.
One of my direct subordinates, one of my guys that worked for me, he would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that and the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. And finally one day he was telling me about some issue that he was having, some problem. And he said, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, well, what am I going to say? He said, you're going to say good. He said, that's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say, good. And I said, well, yeah. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get funded. Didn't get the job you wanted. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Got tapped out? Good. Got beat? Good. unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out, don't get startled, don't get frustrated. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Damn.
What are your thoughts on that one, Steven?
Damn. If you got 2 minutes and 22 seconds, you got 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Just play that on repeat just one more time. You know what I mean? I felt like that was a spoken word music video by Jocko Willing.
Well, it kind of
spoken word rock video. You know,
Echo Charles, who does the podcast with him, he's like he has his own studio. He does all the audio,
the graphics.
He does all the audio, the graphics, and the video mixing. And he's a fucking wizard with all that shit. He's a really cool guy too. But anyways.
How cool is this though? So the message is that hey, you didn't get that job you wanted. You know, you fell short of your dream. You know, you fell short of what you wanted immediately or something like that. Good, right? As in, like, hey, cool. It gives you more time to prepare. It gives you more time to get better. It gives you more time to work on.
You got knocked down. You got tapped out. Good.
Yeah,
you learned.
You learned.
Yeah. You didn't get the new gadget you wanted. Good. That gives you more time to get better with what you have.
Yeah, that's huge. So. Honestly, that kind of always taps back into what we always kind of say is that it's just another opportunity, right?
Yeah.
It's just another possibility, an opportunity for future possibilities that make you stronger as a human being.
And what I really like too, because some people think like, oh, like I didn't get the job, or you know, my wife divorced, whatever it is, you know, I got dumped, or I can't find a significant other, or I got fired, or whatever. There's a lot of things where it's just damn. But I love how he ends it, because he says if you can say the word good, then
it means you're breathing.
Yes, it means you're breathing. It means you're still going on. And he goes, and if you're breathing, that means you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, recalibrate, reload, and go out on the attack. And I fucking love that, dude.
Damn, I can tell you're all pumped up.
Dude, I'm all pumped up. I'm like,
you've just cut the sleeves off of your shirt, and that was a nice shirt.
Tore them off.
Well, yeah.
I tore them off just by flexing.
Dude, your shirts have turned into purple cutoffs, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Like via the Hulk. I'm scared of you now.
Green.
Yeah, you should probably go get that looked at. It's probably something wrong with your bile duct, bro.
Oh yeah,
I don't know,
dude. I thought it was like a cool Hulk thing.
No, I think you're turning sick.
It's just a medical condition.
Oh God, this is nasty. If anyone's listening to this podcast, please help out Project Reclamation. No, but honestly, I couldn't be more jazzed, or I couldn't be more pumped, and honestly, I couldn't be more in tune or in line with a message that we're trying to pump out today to our listening audience. If you have time, just go on the YouTube. We are not sponsored by YouTube, but the world is. My gosh, Jesus. And go ahead and just find Jocko Willing's good on video anywhere. So
I mean, there's so many aspects to this topic. I mean, it's like
absolutely.
Have faith that, you know, if you put thought into what you're doing, have faith that, you know, you're doing the right thing. You know, if it makes sense. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you got to recalibrate all that stuff. But also, you know, if you're doing something that's getting a little rough, you know, you get knocked down a few times, you know, you're not finding that job you want, or, you know, you've been on a bunch of bad dates lately, or whatever it is.
Whatever you think is a negative thing in your life.
Have faith that, you know, it takes a little bit of patience. And sometimes you just have to have faith that what you're doing is the right thing, and you got to keep doing it. And eventually, you know, if you're doing the right things, then the right shit's going to come back. It's this whole boomerang of whatever. And if you're throwing the negative boomerang out, the negative boomerang is going to come back and hit you in the face. If you're throwing the positive boomerang, the hard work boomerang out there, it's going to come back to you eventually, but it might take a while. So have faith that that's going to happen. And you can always tweak things and make sure you're doing.
Keep working on your craft, right?
Yes, that too.
It's just like, okay, it didn't go your way. Well, do you still have that belief in your vision, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to be successful. Oh, but I don't know. I got fired from my job. Well, I'm just never going to work again. No, that's never how it is. Tony Robbins brought up a great quote one time, and I think I even said it in an earlier episode. He's like, how many times do you give your child a chance or an opportunity to learn
this is
how
my
to
favorite, dude.
to walk, right? And he's like, well, what do you mean? Like, I don't know, as many times as it takes. Oh, but he fell down twice already. Do you just kind of give up and let your child just never walk or learn how to walk? No, he just falls down some more until he gets it, falls down some more until he gets it. But that's the purpose of it. You can see that your child, as long as they have no physical impediments or whatever, you see that your child can walk, and you support them along the way, and you by supporting the vision or the end goal, right? It's like, oh, okay, I'm always going to provide this background to you, and I'm always going to provide this helping hand to kind of pick you up sometimes. And then if that's not working, then we're going to start with a little walker first, like a little stroller walker or something like that. You provide the necessary tools to yourself to when you get knocked down or when you do fall down, to kind of pick yourself back up and learn different ways or learn different techniques to finally master it. Same with you, right? If you have that vision of learning how to walk, if you have that learning vision of how to get a successful career or a job going or finally graduating from college, it's like, that's your vision. Okay, how are you going to get there? Well, I have to go and I have to take night classes, so I can only do 2 classes a semester versus full time because I really want.
It takes you 10 years.
So it takes 10 years. You still got that degree. You earned it. No one gave you that degree.
We've talked about Eric Thomas before. Go look up Eric Thomas. I think it took him like 10 years to earn his degree.
Oh, I have
but
to
he
go.
did it.
I have to go to a nightclub and be a DJ or bouncer or something else. You know what I mean? Or I have to go pump gas. That's awesome. You're still contributing and you're learning a life lesson along the way, and you're learning the grit. If you haven't learned our grit episode, if you haven't heard our grit episode. You're learning all that stuff, and you're never going to give up on that sole focus or vision.
Sure. When you just sparked something that we also talked about recently.
Gas stations.
No. Like
okay.
before that, when you're talking about the kid walking. I think it's interesting that there's, small children will, if there's something they want to do, they will not stop until they get, that thing done.
So true.
And when they're really, really small, they will cry for 36 hours to get someone to pay attention or feed them or change their diaper or whatever it is. Then when they get a little bit older, they haven't been taught how to second guess themselves. They haven't been taught how to accept failure. They haven't been taught any of that.
That's so true.
So they will just keep trying to do whatever it is they're trying to do until they get it done. And I feel like at some point we lose that. And that's something we could tap into. Animals, I think we've talked about this before. They have a different mindset as well. There was just last night, dude. There was I had thrown a treat and it went under the couch, and I didn't know it was there. But dude, Paige, she will spend hours trying to figure out how to get that. And she can't do it. She can't move the couch and she can't fit under the couch. So she'll never get that treat, but she won't give up.
She'll poke up. She'll literally put her nose under all 4 corners, right, of the couch.
Mm-hmm.
She'll try and find an angle in or anything like that. But her sole focus and vision is getting that treat underneath.
She will try to dig through the concrete, the carpet,
your
concrete,
slab.
she doesn't care. But but that is a level of determination and perseverance and perspective that I feel like a lot of times adult humans lose. Because you're like, oh, I tried once and I failed. My life is over. What am I going to do?
Just give up, right? When the road gets tough, quit. When life gives you lemons, quit, right?
Yeah, when life gives you lemons, just
quit.
Suck on them.
I guess the biggest thing sometimes, and my honest to gosh belief in faith is this: is that sometimes it's believing in something that you sometimes can't see. Sometimes that other people may not support, or other people can't see as well, or sometimes people don't further in you. It's having a sight in mind, right? Having that carrot out there that personally is driven by you. And sometimes you just you refer back to it. So when times get really, really easy, right? You go, oh man, thank gosh I can have a great perspective. But when times get really, really tough, and you need to rely on this same vision or same goal or your work ethic that you established through kind of all the times in which you tried to kind of go after your soul goal. This is where you rely on yourself, and this is where you kind of push it forward, and this is where you kind of have to start believing in that one vision again. And so, honestly, if you're out there and you're struggling, great. Good for you. You have the opportunity to experience something that not many people have anymore. There's plenty of time to just kind of sit back and sit in a rocking chair and, rest your bones and wait for the next day to come or wait for the next morning to rise. That's awesome, too, if you're in that stage of your life. But at the same time, you have an opportunity to grow. You have an opportunity to experience. You have an opportunity to be moved by emotions, right? This is hard. Well, work through it, right? Oh, this is great. I experienced the fruits of my labor. Well, then enjoy it. You've earned it, because you have believed in yourself. You have put forward the time. You have put forward the effort and energy into buying into your vision. So enjoy it when you're there, But, that's what I got to say here.
Belief in that which can't be proved or you can't see. Because I can't prove to you that something good is going to happen, but it will. You can only prove that to yourself, and you can only do that by having faith. It's a weird loop.
If the end goal is to, and then this is just a relation back to, because I know Project Reclamation is not a faith-based podcast, but
I think we're faith-based in faith in the different sense of the word. Having faith in yourself, having faith in hard work paying off, having faith in that positivity put out into the world will bring positivity back to you, and having faith that just go be a fucking good person.
When I said faith-based like that, I meant religion. I apologize. Yeah. But that certainly does not mean that I'm not a religious-based individual. But
no, we're not trying to talk. I mean, we'll talk about God and that.
We're not here to,
but we're not here to put
our
beliefs onto anybody.
Yeah, we're not here to we're not preacher pushers of any sort.
No. Believe whatever the fuck you want to believe.
Yeah, but one time, if the end goal, I guess my last statement is this:
hail yourself.
If the end goal is to see God, right? I'm going to meet Him. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm a believer. That's why I'm a fan. You may fall short of that vision, right? To actually physically see Him, touch Him, hold Him, hug Him or whatever. You may fall short. Okay. If your end goal is to just make $1 trillion, right? That's my vision. I just want to be the richest man in the world. You may fall short. Okay. And if your end goal is to just see just the end goal of the things, right? What are you going to pick up along the way? What are you going to learn along the way? What are you going to grab along the way and put in your arsenal of things that you can rely on for your future self, whatever that may be? That's what we're really kind of hoping for, that faith leads you to. Faith in yourself leads you to bigger and better lessons here.
Yeah, and that's why I think we've said, if what you're doing is the right thing and makes sense, and you've kind of flushed that out logically. Logically, I want to be a trillionaire because I want to be rich. And there's not a lot of substance there, but if you have substance there, like, well, hey, I want to make $1 trillion because I want to save the whales, save the puppies, do this and cure whatever diseases, then maybe you're onto something. I don't know, but then you have to have a plan, and then and you don't just have faith in that I want to do this or I want to do that. You got to have a plan. And then that plan has to make sense. And if the plan makes sense and it's a good plan and it's the right plan, then have faith that it's going to work, because no matter how good the plan is, no matter how right the decision is, things are not always going to go the right way. Things are going to go sideways. You're going to get knocked down. But point is, if you're on the right path, don't get knocked out.
I love it, man. I'm going to just change gears because sometimes this stuff can get so heavy. So I just think to myself, hey, Tim.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful Steve.
Man, you remember what was like something that when you were a little kid, can you remember like the most determined you ever were? Now, I know you're an Eagle Scout. You're on the top of the heap.
Yeah.
Was that the most determined that you ever were?
Probably in a as far as long term, yeah, that was the most determined I ever was. Because that was like, most of my life, but yeah, I remember like earning freaking merit badges and going and shooting guns. And
now, did you, when you started off, I guess being a Boy Scout, were you saying like, I'm taking this all the way to the top, baby, Eagle Scout, here I come?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 100%.
The reason why I say that is that I wanted to join. I joined Boy Scouts too, but I wanted to just kind of like do it for. I mean, our town was kind of small. If you were.
No, for sure.
10 years old or whatever. You didn't. What did you do?
I don't. Dude, it was so much fun, and it was. It had a lot to do with my dad. It was a lot of my friends. That were in it, but also it was kind of cool because it gave me so much time to spend like with my dad, and we'd go. And I don't know. I mean, Boy Scouts gets a good or bad rap, and I think now it's just called Scouts because I think girls can do it, which is fine.
And which is always should have been.
Don't care. Yeah, it's cool. Well, I mean, they had whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I have no problem with that. But it was very cool, man. I learned survival techniques. I learned knots, but then like it wasn't just like sitting around and doing it was, while we were out camping and like, going hiking all the time. And like,
Sure.
I got so many cool experiences out of it.
That sounds
but
awesome.
Yeah, I absolutely had every intention of taking that one to the top, and I did.
Wow.
And it was cool. I mean, like I said, I got to learn how to shoot guns and shoot arrows, and I think there was a merit badge about personal finance. I think I failed that one. But then I remember there was even one that was like super cool. It was like Nature Conservancy or something like that. And it was literally like I had to spend like freaking like a whole bunch of time. I went to I set up like a freaking deer blind at like Lake Los Caneros, and I just observed all the stuff. And it was so cool because it was so much different than like going and hiking and, going to find a watering hole or, this. It was just like observing nature.
Did you get that?
Cool.
Did you get that badge for setting up a deer blind at Lake Los Caneros? Because the beep, 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 beep. This just in: there are 0 deers at Lake Los Caneros.
No. I meant like the equivalent of a deer blind, because like you're just kind of you set up a little thing and then you're just kind of sitting there watching.
You set up a mosquito blind at Lake Los Caneros because you got plenty of those.
They got
motherfuckers.
ducks.
Not anymore. Thanks, Tim, because that sweet that duck blind.
Oh, the
duck
blind,
hunters came in and just killed everybody. Every one of those
It
ducks.
was cool. So I mean, that one was cool, and I would say I was always a fat kid.
Okay.
So when I started playing football, I remember they did it by weight classes, not ages. So, when I was like 10, if I didn't
You were
lose
with the
weight,
college
I would
kids,
end up
aren't you?
basically playing with like the 13-year-old kids, right?
You were playing with
so
playing with freshmen in college.
Playing, YFL or Youth Football League, which some people, it's Pop Warner in certain areas, but where we were, it was YFL. Yeah, I remember having to lose weight, and I'd have to lose like when you're a little kid, like losing 20 pounds is like a big deal. And I remember and then they'd have the weigh in, and you go weigh in. I just remember me and a couple of we'd set up a tent in the backyard and just sweat it out, like just try to
10 years old.
freaking 10 years old, dude. But dude, I was determined to to play with my friends and not have to play with like kids that were like 3 years old.
Not playing with that incoming freshman class at Ohio
I did
State.
play in the older leagues a couple of times, but yeah, no. So there was a couple of times when I think my determination was like, if I had to lose 20 pounds, I had to lose 20 pounds. And then I would say my last one was, when I wanted to get surgery, like I had to lose 60 pounds before I got surgery. So like I was determined as fuck to do that, and I did it. And then I got my surgery at your lovely hospital with all the people. So
that wonderful hospital in Hillcrest, San Diego. Which,
well, now you told everyone.
yeah. No, but either.
Are we we're almost wrapped up here, right?
Oh, are we? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do you have more to talk about? With
No,
Faith?
I just wanted to say it is so great to hear you. I mean, it's so great to present this stuff to you guys every week. And if you think we're just babbling, we are. We are very, very much just babbling. But honestly, if you can pick up any one thing from what we say, please, please, please just run with it. Make it your own. Oh, even if it's these guys are a bunch of babbling dummy heads. That's awesome. Because at least you kind of listened to a little bit of the message and you kind of refuted it, and you're going to make it your own. And that's what I want more than anything. That's all I got.
So I got a shout out here. The last few episodes, I think we've mentioned we don't have a slogan. So we were looking for a slogan, so we kind of threw it out to the listeners. I didn't get back as nearly as many as I hoped, but I did get back one that I think is perfect. Steve, let me see what you think about this one. This was a listener submitted from one of our amazing listeners who's been listening since the beginning.
I love it.
Beginning of
JB?
time. No.
The
Project Reclamation.
Who's phone tapping us?
Project Reclamation, because the most important project you'll ever work on is yourself.
Oh, I like it. Dad.
I love it.
Thank you, Mother Teresa. I didn't know she was listening, man.
You're close.
Oh. Mama Frick. Mama
Yep,
Frick.
Yep. That's it.
Maybe one and the same, to be honest with you. All right, that's all we got for this week.
That's all we got. Be good. Have faith. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in whatever the hell it is you believe in. Have faith in Steve, and have faith in that hospital that he works at. This episode has been brought to you by Project Reclamation, as well as Podbelly Podcast Network. Go pig out on podcasts. Go check them out. Podbelly.com. Hit us up on Instagram. Go email us at projectxreclamation@gmail.com. You can go look us up on Facebook. I don't know, Instagram and check out our MySpace page. You can give us a Hotmail link. Go check out our GeoCities, our AOL. and send us a friend request on Friendster.
Oh man, and you can even see our pop-up shop at what is it? What's the one the one that it doesn't matter. You're gonna find us,
know, dude.
You can see our pop-up shop at Kmart.
Yeah,
we're gonna be at the local Kmart.
What was the one?
There was the one with the little dog that like the little it's a PetSmart. PetSmart's still around.
Yeah, you can go see our booth at the swap meet.
Oh, it's just like, oh Lord, but yeah, check us out.
Car is looks like it's parked like in your driveway.
Yeah, well,
kinda weird.
There's a car parked in my driveway. It's your car.
No, but the white car, it looks like it's parked like it's like blocking your driveway almost.
Well, that's how it is.
All right, be good. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.